History of surgical infection. Background: surgical infections have always been a major complication related to surgery and trauma and have been documented for 4,000, 5,000 years. Egyptians popularized some concepts about infection, as they were able to prevent putrefaction using their skills in mummification. Their medical papyruses also describe the use of salves and antiseptics to prevent surgical site infections, cis. This prophylaxis had also been known earlier by the Assyrians, although it is less well documented. It was described again independently by the Greeks. The Hippocratic teachings describe the use of antimicrobials, such as wine and vinegar, which were widely used to irrigate open, infected wounds before delayed primary or secondary wound closure. A belief common to all these civilizations, and indeed even later to the Romans, was that whenever pus was localized in an infected wound, it needed to be drained. Galen recognized that this localization of infection, suppuration, in wounds inflicted in the gladiatorial arena often heralded recovery, particularly after drainage, pus bonum et laudabile. Theodoric of Servia, Ambroise Père and Guy de Chauliac observed that clean wounds, closed primarily, could heal without infection or suppuration. Koch's postulates. An understanding of the causes of infection came in the 19th century. Microbes had been seen under the microscope, but Koch laid down the FRST definition of infective disease. Koch's postulates. See summary box 5.1. The Austrian obstetrician Ignaz Semmelweis showed that puerperal sepsis could be reduced from an incidence of over 10% to under 2% by the simple act of hand-washing between cases, particularly between post-mortem examinations in the delivery suite. Louis Pasteur recognized through his germ theory that microorganisms were responsible for infecting humans and causing disease. Joseph Lister applied this knowledge to the reduction of colonizing organisms in compound fractures by using antiseptics. The principles of antiseptic surgery were soon enhanced with aseptic surgery at the turn of the 20th century. As well as killing the bacteria on the skin before surgical incision, antiseptic technique, the conditions under which the operation was performed were kept free of bacteria, aseptic technique. This technique is still employed in modern operating theaters, figure 5.1. Koch's postulates proving whether a given organism is the cause of a given disease. Filled circle. It must be found in every case. Filled circle. It should be possible to isolate it from the host and grow it in culture. Filled circle. It should reproduce the disease when injected into another healthy host. Filled circle. It should be recovered from an experimentally infected host. Discovery of antibiotics. The concept of a magic bullet, Zauberkugel, that could kill microbes but not their host became a reality with the discovery. Of sulfonamide chemotherapy in the mid-20th century. The discovery of the antibiotic penicillin is attributed to Alexander Fleming in 1928, but it was not isolated for clinical use until 1941, by Florey and Chain. The FRST patient to receive penicillin was Police Constable Alexander in Oxford. Since then there has been a proliferation of antibiotics with broad-spectrum activity, and antibiotics today remain the mainstay of antimicrobial therapy. Misuse of antibiotic therapy with the risk of resistance. 10% to under 2% by the simple. Many staphylococci today have become resistant to penicillin. Often bacteria develop resistance through the acquisition of beta-lactamases, which break up the beta-lactam ring present in the molecular structure of many antibiotics. The acquisition of extended-spectrum beta-lactamases, ESBLs, is an increasing concern in some gram-negative organisms that cause urinary tract infections because it is difficult to find an antibiotic effective against them. In addition, there is increasing concern about the rising resistance of many other bacteria to antibiotics, in particular the emergence of methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, MRSA, which is very relevant in general surgical practice. The introduction of antibiotics for prophylaxis and for treatment, together with advances in anesthesia and critical care medicine, has made possible surgery that would not previously have been considered. Fecal peritonitis is no longer inevitably fatal, and incisions made in the presence of such contamination can heal primarily without infection in over 90% of patients with appropriate antibiotic therapy. Despite this, it is common practice in many countries to delay wound closure in patients in whom the wound is known to be contaminated or dirty. Waiting for the wound to granulate and then performing a delayed primary or secondary closure may be considered a better option in such cases. Advances in the control of infection in surgery. Filled circle aseptic operating theater techniques have enhanced the use of antiseptics. Filled circle antibiotics have reduced postoperative infection rates after elective and emergency surgery. Filled circle delayed primary or secondary closure remains useful in heavily contaminated wounds. SSI in patients who have contaminated wounds, who are immunosuppressed or who are undergoing prosthetic surgery is now the exception rather than the rule since the introduction of prophylactic antibiotics. The evidence for this is of the highest level. The use of prophylactic antibiotics in clean, non-prosthetic surgery is of less value as infection rates are low and the indiscriminate use of antibiotics simply encourages the emergence of resistant strains of bacteria. Microbiology of surgical infection. Common bacteria involved in surgical infections. Streptococci form chains and are gram-positive on staining, figure 5.2a. The most important is the beta hemolytic streptococcus, which resides in the pharynx of 5 to 10% of The. Population. In the Landsfeld AG carbohydrate antigens classification, it is the group A Streptococcus, also called Streptococcus pyogenes, that is the most pathogenic. It has the ability to spread, causing cellulitis, and to cause tissue destruction through the release of enzymes such as streptolysin, streptokinase and streptodonase. Streptococcus faecalis is an heterococcus in Landsfeld group D. It is often found in synergy with other organisms, as are the gamma hemolytic streptococcus and peptostreptococcus, which is an anaerobe. Both Streptococcus pyogenes and Streptococcus faecalis may be involved in wound infection after bowel surgery, but the alpha hemolytic Streptococcus viridans is not associated with wound infections. All the Streptococci remain sensitive to penicillin and erythromycin. The cephalosporins are a suitable alternative in patients who are allergic to penicillin. Staphylococci. Staphylococci form clumps and are gram-positive, figure 5.2b. Staphylococcus aureus is the most important pathogen in this group and is found in the nasopharynx of up to 15% of the population. It can cause suppuration in wounds and around implanted prostheses. Some strains are resistant to many common antibiotics, especially MRSA, and so are difficult to treat. MRSA can be found in the nose of asymptomatic carriers among both patients and hospital workers, a potential source of infection after surgery. In parts of Northern Europe, the prevalence of MRSA infections has been kept at very low levels using search and destroy methods, which use screening techniques to look for MRSA in patients before they come into hospital for elective surgery so that any carriers can be treated before their admission for surgery. Local policies on the management of MRSA depend on the prevalence of MRSA, the type of hospital, the clinical specialty and the availability of facilities. Widespread swabbing, ward closures, isolation of patients and disinfection of wards by deep cleaning must all be carefully considered. Staphylococcal infections are usually suppurative and localized. Most hospital Staphylococcus aureus strains are now beta-lactamase producers and so are resistant to penicillin, but many strains remain sensitive to flucloxacillin, vancomycin, aminoglycosides and some cephalosporins. Nowadays, several novel and innovative antibiotics have become available that have high activity against resistant strains. Some have the advantage of good oral activity, linezolid, some have a wide spectrum, teicoplanin, some have good activity in bacteremia, daptomycin, but all are relatively expensive, and some have side effects involving marrow, hepatic and renal toxicity. Their use is justified but needs to be controlled by tight local policies and guidelines that involve clinical microbiologists. Staphylococcus epidermidis, previously Staphylococcus albus, also known as coagulase-negative staphylococcus, was regarded as a non-pathogenic commensal organism commonly found on the skin, but is now recognized as a major threat in vascular and orthopedic prosthetic surgery and in indwelling vascular cannulae, catheters. The bacteria form biofilms that adhere to prosthetic surfaces and limit the effectiveness of antibiotics. Clostridia. Clostridial organisms are gram-positive, obligate anaerobes that produce resistant spores, figure 5.3. Clostridium perfringens is the cause of gas gangrene, and Clostridium tetani causes tetanus. Clostridium difficile, C. diff, is the cause of pseudomembranous colitis, in which destruction of the normal colonic bacterial flora by antibiotic therapy allows an overgrowth of the normal gut commensal C. diff to pathological levels. Any antibiotic may cause this phenomenon, although the quinolones such as ciprofloxacin seem to be the highest risk, especially in elderly or immunocompromised patients. In its most severe form, the colitis may lead to perforation and the need for emergency colectomy with an associated high mortality. Treatment involves resuscitation and antibiotic therapy. The ephedrous exudate is typical and differentiates the colitis from other inflammatory diseases. Rapid testing for C. diff is now available in the form of testing either C. diff, glutamate dehydrogenase, GDH, antigen or C. diff, toxin A, B. The Clostridium difficile GDH AG rapid test qualitatively detects for the presence of C. diff. GDH antigen in feces. On the other hand, the Clostridium difficile toxin A, B rapid test qualitatively detects for the presence of C. diff, toxins A and B in feces. These rapid tests apply lateral flow immunochromatography and are for professional in vitro diagnostic use. Results are usually returned from this rapid testing in less than 30 minutes. Empirical treatment with metronidazole or vancomycin is recommended while awaiting results. Aerobic gram-negative bacilli. These bacilli are normal inhabitants of the large bowel. Escherichia coli and Klebsiella spp. are lactose-fermenting, Proteus is non-lactose fermenting. Most organisms in this group act in synergy with bacteroids to cause cysts after bowel operations, in particular, appendicitis, diverticulitis and peritonitis. Escherichia coli is a major cause of urinary tract infection, although most aerobic gram-negative bacilli can be involved, particularly in relation to urinary catheterization. There is increasing concern about the development of ESBLs in many of this group of bacteria, which confer resistance to many antibiotics, particularly cephalosporins. Pseudomonas spp. tend to colonize burns and tracheostomy wounds, as well as the urinary tract. Once Pseudomonas has colonized wards and intensive care units, ICUs, it may be difficult to eradicate. Surveillance of cross-infection is important in outbreaks. Hospital strains become resistant to beta-lactamase as resistance can be transferred by plasmids. Wound infections need antibiotic therapy only when there is progressive or spreading infection with systemic signs. The aminoglycosides and the quinolones are effective, but some cephalosporins and penicillin may not be. Many of the carbapenems, e.g. meropenem, are useful in severe infections. Bacteroids. Bacteroids are non-spore-bearing, strict anaerobes that colonize the large bowel, vagina and oropharynx. Bacteroids fragilis is the principal organism that acts in synergy with aerobic gram-negative bacilli to cause cysts, including intra-abdominal abscesses after colorectal or gynecological surgery. They are sensitive to the imidazoles, e.g. metronidazole, and some cephalosporins, e.g. sfotaxime. Sources of infection. The infection of a wound can be defined as the invasion of organisms into tissues following a breakdown of local and systemic host defenses, leading to cellulitis, lymphangitis, abscess formation or bacteremia. The infection of most surgical wounds is referred to as superficial surgical site infection, SSSI. The other categories include deep SSI, infection in the deeper musculofascial layers, and organ space infection, SITCH. As an abdominal abscess after an anastomotic leak or pelvic abscess after perforated appendicitis. Pathogens resist host defenses by releasing toxins, which favor their spread, and this is enhanced in anaerobic or frankly necrotic wound tissue. Clostridium perfringens, which is responsible for gas gangrene, releases proteases such as hyaluronidase, lecitinase and hemolysin, which allow it to spread through the tissues. Resistance to antibiotics can be acquired by previously sensitive bacteria by transfer through plasmids. The human body harbors approximately 10-14 organisms. They can be released into tissues before, during or after surgery, contamination being most severe when a hollow viscus perforates, e.g. fecal peritonitis following a diverticular perforation. Any infection that follows surgery may be termed endogenous or exogenous, depending on the source of the bacterial contamination. Endogenous organisms are present on or in the patient at the time of surgery, whereas exogenous organisms come from outside the patient. In modern hospital practice, endogenous organisms colonizing the patient are by far the most common source of infection. Classification of sources of infection. Filled circle endogenous, present in or on the host, e.g. SSSI following contamination of the wound from a perforated appendix. Filled circle exogenous, acquired from a source outside the body, such as the operating theater, inadequate air filtration, poor antisepsis, or the ward, e.g. poor hand washing compliance. The cause of hospital-acquired infection, hair. Microorganisms are normally prevented from causing infection in tissues by intact epithelial surfaces, most notably the skin. These surfaces are broken down by trauma or surgery. In addition to these mechanical barriers, there are other protective mechanisms, which can be divided into filled circle chemical, low gastric pH, filled circle humoral, antibodies, complement and opsonins, filled circle cellular, phagocytic cells, macrophages, polymorphonuclear cells and killer lymphocytes. All of these natural mechanisms may be compromised by surgical intervention and treatment. The chance of developing an SSI after surgery is also determined by the pathogenicity of the organisms present and by the size of the bacterial inoculum. The more virulent the organism or the larger the extent of bacterial contamination, the more likely is wound infection to occur. Host factors are also important, so a less virulent organism or a lower level of wound contamination may still result in a wound infection if the host response is impaired. Summary box 5.4. Devitalized tissue, excessive dead space or hematoma, which are all the results of poor surgical technique, increase the chances of infection. The same applies to foreign materials of any kind, including sutures and drains. These principles are important to an understanding of how best to prevent infection in surgical practice. Factors that determine whether a wound will become infected: filled circle host response, filled circle virulence and inoculum of infective agent, filled circle vascularity and health of tissue being invaded, including local ischemia as well as systemic shock. Filled circle presence of dead or foreign tissue, filled circle presence of antibiotics during the decisive period. Risk factors for increased risk of wound infection: filled circle malnutrition, obesity, weight loss, filled circle metabolic disease, diabetes, uremia, jaundice, filled circle immunosuppression, cancer, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS, steroids, chemotherapy and radiotherapy. Filled circle colonization and translocation in the gastrointestinal tract, filled circle poor perfusion, systemic shock or local ischemia, filled circle foreign body material, filled circle poor surgical technique, devitalized tissue, dead space, hematoma. The decisive period. There is up to a 4-hour interval before bacterial growth becomes established enough to cause an infection after a breach in the tissues, whether caused by trauma or by surgery. This interval is called the decisive period, and strategies aimed at preventing infection from taking a hold become ineffective after this time period. It is therefore logical that prophylactic antibiotics should be given to cover this period and that they could be decisive in preventing an infection from developing before bacterial growth takes a hold. The tissue levels of antibiotics during the period when bacterial contamination is likely to occur should be above the minimum inhibitory concentration, Mike 90, for the expected pathogens. Reduced resistance to infection. Reduced resistance to infection has several causes, particularly those that impair the inflammatory response. Host response is weakened by malnutrition associated with a low or high body mass index. Metabolic diseases such as diabetes mellitus, uremia and jaundice, disseminated malignancy and acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS, are other contributors to infection and a poor healing response, as are iatrogenic causes including the immunosuppression caused by radiotherapy, chemotherapy and drugs such as steroids and methotrexate, figures 5.4 and 5.5. When enteral feeding is suspended during the perioperative period, and particularly with underlying disease such as cancer, immunosuppression, shock or sepsis, bacteria, particularly Aerobacter gram-negative bacilli, tend to colonize the normally sterile upper gastrointestinal tract. They may then translocate to the mesenteric nodes and cause the release of endotoxins. Lipopolysaccharide in bacterial cell walls, which can be one cause of a harmful systemic inflammatory response through the excessive release of pro-inflammatory cytokines and activation of macrophages, figure 5.6. In the circumstances of reduced host resistance to infection, microorganisms that are not normally pathogenic may start to behave as pathogens. This is known as opportunistic infection. Opportunistic infection with fungi is an example, particularly when prolonged and changing antibiotic regimes have been used.